What is up, y'all? It is Grant with another episode of the Goose Files. And today I got my main man Jay with me.
What's good?
And today we'll be talking about the beloved album, Schoolboy Q's magnum opus to me, the 2016 album Blankface LP. So started off, I was listening to this album today, and there's so much still great stuff on it. But I feel like the main thing, like specifically, I was listening to the song "Never Change" featuring SZA, and that is easily one of the best Q's rap performances ever. And I feel like, in terms of songwriting, that's probably one of the most impressive tracks I've seen from Q. And basically, talking about like the whole song is basically about like staying stuck in like growth and just doing like, hey, do you want to keep continuing the cycle of how your life is going, or do you want to be something greater? And I feel like it's just such a great song. It's easily my favorite song off the album. What is your favorite song off the album, Jay?
It's funny that you mentioned that because my favorite song is also "Never Change." I feel like that's probably the one that I go back to the most because, like you said, it's a great rap performance. The subject matter, he hit all the high points. You know, everything he was looking to accomplish as far as songwriting goes. I think that's probably that's pretty easily my favorite. If I had to pick another song, I love the Groovy Tony, Eddie Kane. I thought Jadakiss was a great addition to that song. I know when it was released as a single, it was a solo, and they added Jadakiss to it for the album, and I thought that was a great addition. I feel like he complements the overall feel of that song very well.
I definitely feel like Groovy Tony. I remember like the Groovy Tony video was playing on MTV like every single morning I woke up. Like when I woke up, that song was on. That song was playing. So I feel like it's definitely one of Q's better singles, and I feel like this album is just as Apex. It's probably easily Q's most creative body of work, and I feel like it's tied for the best non-Kendrick TDE album to me. I'm not going to say tie. I think it is. I think it is the best non-Kendrick TDE. I think I have it over. I want to say I have it over Sylvia Demo slightly,
Okay.
just a little bit. I feel like with there's just so much to love about it. Like it's just like you have Lord Have Mercy, the second song on the album, and then like there's so many creative productions and things like that. Like for instance, like Q over Metro Boomin Beat with Dope Dealer. And I'll say this: if y'all niggas got one more time to hate on Dope Dealer and E40. Y'all got one more time. I'm gonna handle that.
Man,
He
I
E40
love
E40
Dope
snap.
Dealer,
Y'all tripping. E40
yeah.
fucking snap. But
Yeah,
but what I was gonna say is, and then you have Ride Out with Vince Staples and like Q kind of. I feel like Q gives us. I feel like this man. I want to say I feel like this album is oxymoron, but on steroids, but like greater. I feel like the formula is the same. It's just executed at just an unreal level. And the reason why I say that is because when we think of oxymoron, we think of Q's commercial effort. And I feel like it was still a great effort, but he was giving everybody a little bit of everything. But I feel like this album is more so that, but much more improved on. And honestly, classic levels here.
yeah. I feel like there were just as many commercial attempts on Blankface as there were on Oxymoron. Like, especially when you consider songs like that part or songs like
Overtime.
Overtime. Yeah, I mean, we can't talk about the album without mentioning it. That was clearly he looked to capitalize off of what he had with Studio, off of Oxymoron, and I'm not blaming him for going for that. It's just I feel like there were just as many attempts. I think that the other songs on the album were elevated to a degree. So
Yeah,
that's and I think that's what gives it the edge over Oxymoron for me. It's just that.
and I feel like Q. I still don't get why we don't have a Q Alchemist album yet. And the reason why I say that is because I was listening to some tracks yesterday by Q, and like I was listening to My Homie, Break the Bank, Attention, and some of these other songs, and I'm like, Q is just such a great match with Alchemist. I would just wish they had more stuff together. Like I feel like what's missing from Q's career is like a full blown one producer, one rapper album because he's such a good rapper. Like I'm not just saying that, and I'm not just saying Alchemist just to like because I do feel like people are very uncreative with their dream collabs, but like there's a track record with Q and Alchemist doing great stuff, so I would like that. But where do we see Q's career from here? Like, what is his legacy? And I have an assumption, or like I have a take that it's like I would say not being outshined by the greatest, probably one of the greatest rappers to ever grace a mic, and one of the greatest rappers of the decade, and still having like a critically acclaimed career. And I think it just shows the depth that TDE had back in the day. Because like you could put we can talk about Kendrick's work all day, but like on that label you have Q, you have SZA, you have Isaiah Rashad, Absol, J Rock, and did I say everybody in terms of the rappers and like the core members?
Yeah, I think so.
But like that's a really deep roster. And like if you take some of their best albums and put them against other rappers of their particular decade, I still think they beat them. So like TDE is just like extremely deep, and like they're just they were such an extremely deep label. And I feel like with Blankface, it's the epitome of, hey, y'all can't fuck with us as a whole. Y'all can't fuck with TDE as a group. You can't do what we do. You can't do the level of creativity that we have. The other major labels and things like that can't really do, and things of that nature in the 2010s. So I feel like Q has a very solid legacy. And at the end of the day, I don't think it's insane to say he's an all-time great.
No, I don't think I don't take any issue with it. It's interesting to me that that Q, I think as far as where he goes from here, I'm intrigued to see, because he's mentioned that he doesn't like the content on Blankface and that he feels that it's more dark and depressing. So I wouldn't be surprised to hear him go in an even more in a more lighthearted direction, and I'm okay with that, because even if this is my favorite album, even if this is my favorite album from him, I don't want my favorite artist to be trying to recapture the energy that they had when the content associated with that is depressing to them. Like I want them to be able to. But
it reminds me a lot of the it reminds me of what Redman said about there is a dark side. Like a lot of people have that as his best album, but Redman is like, hey, y'all can look at all y'all want. I will never touch that album again. I don't even want to listen to it because he was in such a dark place right there. So I understand that. And like I said before, artists are humans too. So like, there's nothing wrong with them feeling that way. Um, but yes, I'm interested in where Q goes from here as well, because what else do you have to accomplish in your career in terms of music? I feel like you showed the world already that, okay, I can give you the commercial effort. I can give you the great experimental body of work. I can give you um, I can give you the radio anthem. I can give you the radio song. I can give you me rapping my ass off. I can give you the funky jam. I can give you all this stuff. And I'm just not sure what the next box is to check for him. And just thinking, if I'm putting myself in his shoes, what is next for his career? Is it, okay, y'all doubted me with Crash Talk, and even though Crash Talk wasn't super good, y'all don't think I can come back? Okay, I'm gonna come back with an album for y'all. Is that it? Is it okay, I'm just gonna try to have fun with my music and just be experimental as possible? And I can see him taking more of a Vince Staples route with his music, because funny enough, when Vince Staples talked about Big Fish Theory today, when he tweeted it out, he was like, okay, when he tweeted it out, he was like, he said something about innovation, and I will always be for trying to an artist trying to reach push a musical boundary.
Yeah, always.
So I think he might end up taking a Vince Staples route.
That's interesting. I feel like like you said, but I don't think he has anything left to prove. I feel like at this point he can kind of, I mean, I feel like you can do what you want to do musically. Like, I don't think there's any pressure for him, any expectations he needs to meet. I feel like all of that, I feel like he's accomplished enough. I feel like he can kind of, I want to see him, and I feel like I say this a lot, but I want to, like, I want him to make the music that he wants to make, whether it's well received or not.
I'd like to say that I don't even think, I think Blankface is Q's best album. I don't think it's the most important for his career. I think it's Oxymoron, because I feel like that was the album where like he kind of broke the mainstream space and was like, okay, I hit you with collard greens, and then I hit you with Man of the Year. I hit you with Hell of the Night, which is my guilty pleasure song. I'm not gonna lie to you. It is my guilty pleasure song.
Hey man, I'm gonna say, I think that there's no such thing as a guilty pleasure song. If you like it, you like it. Even if it's something you don't think you would like, it's just sometimes your taste works out that way. That's all that is.
But I think that's what's yeah, I think how many artists can you say that their most important album isn't their best one?
I don't know. I feel like I'd have to sit and think about that.
Can you think of any type of example off the top of your head?
See, a lot of times, this is kind of broad, but a lot of times an artist's most important album is their first one because I remember hearing Jay-Z talk about um Reasonable Doubt, and he said that's the album I waited my whole life to make. So I feel like a lot of artists probably have that thought process in mind. So even if it's not, their magnum opus or most critically acclaimed, I feel like the first album is the most important a lot of the time.
Yeah, I agree. It's kind of like it's a very interesting ordeal because I feel like I feel like often people kind of get it like not necessarily like preference, but at the same time, like it's just sort of I just don't agree with something like just because something is their best, that means it's their most important to their career. Like I would say thematic, like for example, I would say thematically and quality wise, Kendrick's best album is September Butterfly. But I would say for his career, I would say Good Kid, Mad City is the most important because it was proof to the world that you can't you can be this concept center artist. You can make a concept album and still sell well, and you don't have to really sacrifice the artistry and things like that in order to do what you in order to appease both sides. So like I feel like that's an example. But um what's next for Q, man, I really don't know. Cause it's just kind of like, what else do you gotta prove?
Yeah, and like I said, I don't think there's anything for him to prove. I think it's just if if his desire is to continue to make music, then make the music that you want to hear. Make the music that you want to make. Like I'm all for the freedom of the artist.
It's it's kind of like this. I say this, we're getting to the point in rap where like I say the superstars of our era, like when we were like 2010s, when we were growing up, are kind of like they're still running with the baton, but we kind of waiting. Hey, who's gonna take the baton from them? So they still running and things like that. And that's the way so I could put it. So whenever these guys, I don't know, man. Like you said before, only time would tell. So like, I feel like a lot of these guys just don't. It's a very weird situation, man. Because I don't know, man. I feel like these guys one day, I don't even think they'll just come out and retire formally. Because number one, nobody really retires from rap, and then number
Right.
two, I just don't see those aren't the type of guys to do a formal retirement. I think they'll just kind of just like fade away, I guess. Well, not really fade away, but sort of like just sort of just like just be quiet. Just kind of keep quiet. That's what I think will happen. If that makes sense. Jay, can you hear me? Jay. Oh dang, your boy. I'm about to say you got abducted by aliens or something.
Oh,
You,
my bad.
I'm about to say you good, man?
Yeah, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you breaking up a little bit. But I can hear you.
All right, hold on.
All right, you sound good now. You sound good now.
Okay.
But I was saying is that I feel like these type of guys are just they're just gonna go MIA, and there won't be like any type of formal announcement or anything like that. Cause I feel like we're reaching a point where like what else did everybody else have to offer for the rap game? And that's just how I feel. Like it's just like, okay, you already done all this. You're just finding stuff. You're finding boundaries to push. You're finding stuff that it's just a what's next deal.
Yeah, I agree. And I like I said, I don't know when I cut out or when you stopped being able to hear me, but I was saying we're kind of in uncharted waters because we don't know what comes back. But I'm okay with that. Like I'm okay with having to anticipate and not being able to predict what the next thing to happen is.
I agree, man. But I'm in the episode there. We appreciate you guys for pulling up to this one. If there's a album you want us to check out and things like that, let us know. But other than that, y'all stay easy. We out.